10 years after its initial release in 2015, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is getting bigger. In a game that is already so vast that is filled with hundreds of hours of content, it's kind of mind-blowing to think that this game could get bigger, but it is. CDPR has done a great job with keeping the game alive with updates. We had 2 expansions, and recent announcements have sparked some fresh excitement. We have the confirmation that cross-platform mod support will be releasing later this year, but also we have the recent report that says a new story-driven DLC is reportedly in development and is set to release in 2026. But what if that's not everything? Well, in this video, we're going to talk about all of that and more. We have a lot to cover, so check the video chapters for easy viewing, and let's get started. So first things first, let's jump into the concrete news that we have, stuff that we know is happening later this year, and that is the addition of cross-platform mod support for The Witcher 3. And by cross-platform mod, yes, we're talking about console mods are happening. In May of this year, CDPR announced that The Witcher 3 will receive a final patch later this year, which they say final, but let's be real. Cyberpunk has a final patch that releases every year, it seems like, so yeah. I don't think that this Witcher 3 Wild Hunt update will be the final update, but according to the news, it will introduce cross-platform mod support for PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X and S via mod.io. Which, for those of you that missed that news, they said in a statement, as we celebrate the 10th anniversary of The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, we're excited to share some good news for our players and modders. Later this year, we will release one more patch for The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. This update will introduce cross-platform mod support. Creating, sharing, and enjoying mods will be easier and more accessible as players on console will be able to share a modding ecosystem, which we actually have some details regarding how cross-platform mods will work. Obviously, like I said, you'll have to have a mod.io account, and the mod support that they're offering is coming at no additional cost. So if you own The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, you don't have to spend more money or pay for mods, which is a pretty big, contrast to other games that offer mod support on console. Now, most of the mods will be available across PC, Xbox Series X, and PlayStation. However, due to specific content guidelines and selection criteria for each platform, they said that it might not be possible to bring every single mod uploaded to PC to console. Now, this news about an update happening later this year is obviously great news. Like, this is the first update that we've had for The Witcher 3 in a long time. So I'm really hyped that we're getting it. This is like a big jump for console players who have been, playing the game primarily on console for this entire time, who have always wanted to try out some of the PC mods that some mod developers make. Like, now you're going to be able to try it on console for the most part. Like, obviously there are limitations, but I'm expecting that we'll be getting new quests, new cosmetics, quality of life improvements, weapons, maybe some texture replacements, but that's probably going to be about it in terms of the console release. But for PC, obviously we have everything at our disposal. Like, there's not really any restrictions because we don't have to use mod.io. We can use Nexus and all of the various other modding platforms. So yeah, it's exciting news. I can't wait to see what else the update will add. Again, though, I don't think this is the final update. As much as CDPR is going to tell us that this is the final update for Witcher 3, I don't believe you, you lying liar. Which, don't get it twisted, that's not a negative, obviously. Like, the more we get updates to The Witcher 3, the more reasons I have to jump on and play again. No, I don't need to start a new save every time there's a new update. I totally don't do that, at all. I haven't played this game a million times because it's my favorite game ever. Totally have never done that. Now, the next thing that we have that is not really confirmed, but it's highly rumored based on information from sources that people believe. It all started from a Polish podcast who had a rumor that they said that they've heard that a third major DLC for The Witcher 3 is being developed by Fool's Theory, a studio that's comprised of mainly CDPR X developers. Fool's Theory is also the developer that's doing the remake of The Witcher 1, which that is still so far away that I don't even want to think about. But yeah, according to this rumor / leak, a Witcher 3 Wild Hunt DLC is being added. Now, I want to make this clear. I don't think that we're going to be getting a major expansion, something that's almost the size of a regular game like Blood and Wine. I doubt it's going to be of the scale of Hearts of Stone either. If the content that they were developing was something really massive, they would call it an expansion because that's how CDPR does things. An expansion is something like, Blood and Wine or Phantom Liberty, whereas a DLC is something like New Game Plus being added to the game. So yeah, we have to make this clear. We're not going to be getting a new expansion in 2026 for The Witcher 3. If we were, that would be insane, which I guess it's still possible. It could be that the reportings were a bit off, and what Fool's Theory is mainly working on right now while they wait for The Witcher 4 to release is they're working on a new expansion, which would be insane. But I doubt that's what we're getting. The details are pretty scarce when it comes to this new DLC. It is rumored to be a story-driven DLC. It's going to possibly serve as a story that bridges the gap between Witcher 3 and The Witcher 4, which has a lot of people saying that Ciri could be the main protagonist. That's kind of my theory at this point. I think it's also possible that they, decide to align all of the various endings of The Witcher 3, where they all lead Ciri to the path of The Witcher 4. There's been also speculation that this DLC might depict Ciri's path going to Kovir, which would perfectly set the stage for The Witcher 4. You give people DLC for The Witcher 3 that bridges the gap between the two. That way they're not having to fill as many gaps at the start of The Witcher 4 for the game to make sense. Obviously, there's going to be a time gap between The Witcher 3 and 4, but the prospects of a new DLC featuring the original voice actor Joe Wyatt as Ciri would be a great addition for fans, and it would be an epic send-off where players can experience Ciri's final decision to embrace her destiny as a Witcher, all being brought to life by Joe Wyatt's iconic performance for Ciri. In my opinion, it would be a great send-off and conclusion to Ciri's arc in The Witcher 3, kind of tying everything together, and to show us fans the official reasoning for why she decided to become a Witcher. That's something that we all would love to see. And it would also give them an opportunity to tell a prequel story almost, without having to tell all of that story in The Witcher 4 at the intro for the game. So yeah, my hope is that we almost get a prequel to The Witcher 4 with this new DLC, and then once The Witcher 4 launches, the transition between 3 and 4 will be really smooth. Now, this also begs the question, is new DLC for The Witcher 3 going to be something they charge for, or will this be a free DLC? As much as I think that, charging for it would be an easy win, they've got 60 million people who have played this game and own it currently. Selling a $10 or $20 DLC would be an easy win for them. They would print money and it would obviously keep the investors happy. But in my opinion, if they release the DLC as a free DLC that adds the story and, bridges the gap between the two games and have it all for free, that would be genius in my opinion. You're not having to directly target people to, buy the DLC. Rather, you're trying to acquire new users to purchase The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. If you can get a new user to play The Witcher 3, then that's a win, because look at all the other DLCs that they have, along with the 2 major expansions for the game. And that's not to mention, if the DLC is about Ciri and bridging the gap between the two games, you're essentially targeting 60 million users with the prequel to your next game. They could just chalk it up as a marketing expense for The Witcher 4 at the end of the day. Now, CDPR stated that the 2025 cross-platform mod support patch will be The Witcher 3's final update, quote unquote, which tells us that this could potentially be the end of the updates. However, the 2026 rumored DLC, if confirmed, that would necessitate at least 2 more updates, right? So we have the one final one at the end of 2025 for cross-platform mods, and then you would need one more update to release the DLC, and then potentially another one after that for bug fixes or further optimization. But this raises the incredibly intriguing possibility, what if this is just the beginning? What if Fool's Theory is developing something else for The Witcher 3 after the supposed DLC? Now, that's obviously possible, but I think the situation behind us getting DLC in 2026 is an interesting opportunity for them to get used to developing on the Witcher IP again. As I mentioned, Fool's Theory is comprised of developers that are previous CDPR employees. So I think the DLC is just to get them in the mindset so that once The Witcher 4 is done, they could start working on The Witcher 1 remake. Is the DLC the only thing they're working on? It's hard saying. I think that it probably is. They're probably just going to keep on working with The Witcher 3 until they get started with 1. And once that happens, I would not expect any further updates or, patches or DLC for The Witcher 3 pretty much ever. So yeah, should we expect more content after the cross-platform update and The Witcher 3 DLC that's alleged and just, currently rumored? I'm personally not expecting anything, but I will be pleasantly surprised if I'm wrong. Either way though, guys, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt continues to defy all odds. The fact that they are still giving us updates 10 years later is absolutely cracked. And the fact that we could be getting DLC 10 years later, 11 years later, actually, is mind-blowing. But that's going to wrap it up with this video, guys. Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel with your notifications turned on so you're not missing out on any future gaming news. And until next time, this has been Wes, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.